Hello and welcome to the most hated show in the black corner of YouTube. I'm your host, the Whiteologist, Mr. Blows Your Minds, and this is Black Minds News Report. Black Minds News is to report, articulate, translate, communicate, insinuate, develop, investigate, unveil, decode, spread the news, whether it's by news, video, websites, or quote from publications. As I articulate this information, I ask that the creator of the universe be here, heart, soul, mind, and spirit, because why? The truth don't need no partner. As a descendant of the greatest people who created this place that we call the United States, we, the foundational Black Americans, the bloodline historical lineage, the historical people known as slaves, we who call ourselves BADOS, Black American descendant of slaves. Some say Black African descendant of slaves. Some say, and others say, ADOS, American descendant of slaves. We, the today's children, offspring, and present generation, we give honor to our ancestors. You know what the motto of my show is? I'm never going to tell you what I heard. I'm only going to tell you what I know. Today's date is October the 23rd, 2019. Have you heard? Well, got several stories for you today. But as you see, that was on the marquee today. Main story is going to be, as you see on your screen, but the title says, Too Black, Too Strong, the Price of Blackness. Let me say that again. Too black, too strong, the price of blackness. That's right. What is the price of being black in a country that has been founded historically on the premise that which still resonate on this day? Yet many people say we have progressed to some degree, but many of us will say not enough. And so we will see some stars today that just seems to resonate a peculiar scenario every time you're in that position. So stay tuned as we get into this news broadcast. Hey, how's y'all doing? Again, this is your host, Mr. Blow Your Minds, and this is Black Minds News Report. First and foremost, I want to say what's good to my fam, subscribers, old, not too many new lately. So anyway, again, thank you each and every one of you kindly for you taking time out of your day to come over here to see what Black Minds News has presented on this day. Passerbys, if you should happen to pass by, this is the most hated show in the black corner of YouTube. Been in the business for 12 years. I'm saying 12 years. I'm going to say 7 years. 2012 I've been in, right? Usually could get $250,000 plus 50,000, 30,000, 20,000, you name it. We was getting them kind of views. Somebody did the video on April 1st of 2014, rubbed a lot of people some kind of way. And ever since that time, they've been after to shut down this channel. They've been slowly, methodically doing that. Again, I'm welcoming you. Again, maybe you seen the thumbnail, the title may have got you to come over here. Welcome over here. Go down the aisle, see some things that you might like. If you happen to see something that make you feel some kind of way, remember that the motto of the show is the truth don't need no partner. Now, let's get into this, right? So, again, today's date is October 23rd, 2019. And seems like there's always this underlying aspect when we are in the capacity of employment or position of authority. That some people feel like, well, when you're an employee, maybe because I'm forced to have to deal with you according to the law, like other people seem like the only reason they can only have the mental understanding to deal with you in the humanly way is under if the law says I have to. And they may be grudgingly doing it. And then they get fed up, and then it just becomes a matter of the formality of you going through the process. So, today we're going to talk about being too black and too strong, and sometimes making stances that appear to be just the normal. If it was in their position, they would be doing it. But when you do it, it seems to be, we got always to stigmatize you, to make it seem and appear that this is because of your own doing. So, let me go ahead and start the show off with this here. First, we're going to go over here to Michigan, right? And I got a situation that happened in Michigan. Again, a lot of us, you employ, you work somewhere, right? And this kind of happens on the normal, but a lot of times it's not something that is kind of in the general public's eye. Kind of gets under the radar, but we over here at Black Minds News, we see things and we sift through what's out there and we bring it to keep you conscious and aware of not just the trending news. Like some channels are just about trending. We over here do the regular Leroy type of news. Right? So anyway, Leroy and Mary. I always say Mary was white, but it wasn't Mary. Anyway, so we're gonna do it that way, right? So check this out. Let me do this right quick for you, and we shall be right back. Black Michigan man says he was called the N-word, fired from brewery company. You know I'm gonna say that again. Black Michigan man said he was called the N-word, fired from brewery company. Tracy Evans alleges in a lawsuit that he was subject to a racist work environment during the 4 years he was employed by Founders Brewing Company. This story is coming out of NBC News. Day's date is October 26, 2019, the day that the article comes out. And this is how it reads. A black man in Michigan is suing the brewing company he worked for, claiming he was called the N-word by co-workers, denied a promotion because of his race, and ultimately fired when he told the manager he was going to human resources. Tracy Evans of Wayne County filed a lawsuit in August of 2018 in the Eastern District of Michigan, alleging that he was subject to a racist work environment during the 4 years he was employed by the Founders Brewing Company. Founders Brewing Company, in a statement, denied race played any role in Evans' termination, but did not address the other allegations of racism in the workplace. In a deposition regarding Evans' claims, Founders General Manager Dominic Ryan said he could not definitely say whether the employee is black. I don't know Tracy's lineage, so I can't speculate on whether if he's from Africa or not, Dominic Ryan, who was white, said when an interviewer asked him about Evans' race. When the interviewer continued to question Ryan and asked the manager if he knew whether Michael Jordan and former President Barack Obama are black, he responded that he never met them. According to an amendment complaint in October 2018, Evans was hired at the Grand Rapids location in 2014 as a packing machine operator. He later transferred to a Detroit location where he was fired in June of 2018. Evans alleged that at both locations he was either called the N-word by a coworker or a colleague used a racial slur around him. When he reported both instances to Human Resources, his complaint fell upon deaf ears, and the employees were allowed to continue working for Founders, the lawsuit states. At the Grand Rapids location, Evans' colleagues alleges labeled an upstairs printer white guy printer and on the one downstairs black guy printer. When Evans applied for a promotion in 2015, the 2 open positions were given to his white co-workers, even though Evans had trained both of them and they had been employed with founders for a shorter period of time. In June of 2018, Evans met with a supervisor and informed him of his plans to meet with human resources about the work environment and how he was treated. Days later, Evans was fired for pretextual reasons. The lawsuit says Evans received unequal treatment, was denied a promotion, and was ultimately terminated based on his race and retaliation of complaints regarding his treatment. It further alleges that he was subjected to desperate scrutiny and disciplinary practice when compared to his Caucasian comparators. Founders Brewing Company in the statement posted on his website and said they plan to file a motion to dismiss the case. Founders evaluated and decided to terminate Mr. Evans based only on his job performance. The company said, adding that it plans to release documents to prove his termination was not based on his race or retaliation. The company also responded to Ryan's deposition, saying in his statement that he was simply saying that he does not assume anything about individuals, race, or ethnicity unless they tell him that information. All right, so we are back. So we see there in Michigan, a brother named Tracy Evans, looks like he's from Wayne County, worked for a company called Founders Brewing Company, said that he is filing a racial lawsuit on the fact that he has a racist work environment. Now again, people who don't understand this from the oppositional side always think you're playing some kind of card when you start talking about racist environment. What's natural to you may not be natural to everybody, because I know the way that the country is built, it's all about white, right? Everything from the perspective of white. And so it's kind of hard for a white to fathom that you have issues on the way that their normal operations, how they do, is offensive to you. So, Tracy Evans, again, originally looks like he said that from his co-workers, it was always the constant hearing the nigger in the conversations, overtones, or maybe direct and indirectly, that he believed that this was kind of the foundational environment that those who worked there displayed on the regular. He goes in and talks about this several times. Let's say he tried to elevate oneself. He had he'd been there 4 years, according to this. He'd been there 4 years, but actually he had transferred, but we'll talk about that. But he had been there 4 years. They had two positions were open. He tried to apply for that, and it seems that he was denied promotion. And based on the reoccurrence of those situations that he talked about, seemed to get to a breaking point where he decided that enough was enough, and let me go ahead and use the process to do something about it. And so he tries to do that. And then we see that in 2018, he files a lawsuit, again, based on racist work environment. Now, so we see that originally this was a transfer. He had worked originally in 2014, if I'm not mistaken. I think he worked at the Grand Rapids location in 2014, transferred to the Detroit one in June of 2015. And he said it was in both locations, it was the same MO. modus operandi, right? Like this is seen like this is the status quo. This is how it always is. So he left one location based on the same kind of situation that he thought transferring would probably alleviate. And that's what a lot of people do. They think that sometimes not taking the stance to go ahead and just say, look, I'm going to go through this process again, according to what, again, the rules of the game says. Again, when you play the game, there's rules and instructions how to play. Now, accordingly, they tell us when you read the manual and instruction to how to play the game, that this is what you do in these situations. But what end up normally happening is you come to find out that, again, as I always say here on Black MINDZ News, that what you see on the menu in front of you is not the menu you can order from. The menu we got for you is in the back. I'm going to say that again. You know, a lot of people, again, when you go to a restaurant and you see the menu, say at McDonald's or some Burger King, KFC or something like that, and you sit there and they see people stand up at the top and they're looking at what they think they want to order. I mean, the same thing when you're talking about rules and regulations and policies that's supposed to apply to each and everybody. According to, they say, the mantra of the country is there's equality for everybody. But people who play the game long enough start to learn that what's said for them does not necessarily mean it is for you. And so you have a menu in the back. And so what some people do because of their frustration or lack thereof to be persistent and feel like it would be better to alleviate themselves from the situation, what they end up doing is they leave, thinking that the grass is greener somewhere else. But again, we'll have to see what is the persisting problem here. Is it the establishment or is it just something about employees who work in there in their capacity, right? So we see that he decided that, again, after he'd been there 4 years, like he was at the other place from 2014 to 2015. He only did it 1 year, right? That was about 1 year. He only could put up 1 year. But then from 2015 to 2018, we'll say 3 years. We're going to say 4 years altogether he'd been with the company. So we say he took enough, had enough. And so based on, again, what had been said, he decided that he's going to tell his supervisor. Now, then this is where you slipped on the banana peel. You was not supposed to make that announcement. Again, you ain't got to make that speech. You go and do what you had to do, right? Instead of you going to tell your supervisor, well, I'm going to go to human resource about this situation. Well, again, when you kind of green and new in the game, you'll think that human resource is a place that where employees go to vent or to, let's say, use the handbook and the policies about I have an issue and this is what we're going to do. Now, there's certain situations that human resource where you got those kind of problems that they can med it out. We're going to work this out. We're going to sit down, the meeting of the minds between the two, and we're going to work this out. But when you come in there with a discrimination, they already know, we got a problem here. Mayday, we got a problem here. So again, you thinking that human resource is the place you go because you think that the human resource is really there for you. No. That's the company's internal. You know what I'm saying? That's their eyes and ears when there's a situation that may cost them the money. Because see what happened. Once you mention, you go to HR, supervisor made the move to say, and a couple of days later, you up out of there, right? Got you up out of there, right? Got you fired. And so he decided, okay, you're wrongfully terminated me, right? You unjustly, it's racial motivated, racial connotated. I understand what you're doing because y'all didn't want this to be exposed and other people to lose their job. But he had said that even that he went prior, now he went the first place when he originally was in Grand Rapids, he went to HR. And what HR did is they just had a deaf ears, like you ain't said nothing. You know what I'm saying? You didn't say anything because, again, it's kind of like birds of a feather flock together. So, again, you kind of like the quota nigga here, right? You only the motherfucker we got here because, again, like I said earlier, that law specified that we have to put some of you in here. If it wasn't for the law, we wouldn't have not one of you in here. And this is going to show you how this company really get down. Even when they probably in a position to try to be on their P's and Q's, motherfuckers just said some shit that just, again, Tracy Evans, I'm pretty sure you're going to get your money. So don't worry about that. So anyway, check it out. So So we see in January or June of 2018, that's when he go ahead and he tells the HR. And, you know, he gets fired. So he's going to file the EEOC. I'm pretty sure that's what this is. And so, you know what they're going to do. They're going to go into politically correct mode. They're going to be in denial, right? And so what we see is that they had a deposition. Did you hear when I said that they had a deposition with one of the managers of the company? They had a deposition. And did you hear what the dude from Founders Brewing Company, right? And he's denied race played any role in Evans' termination, but did not address the other allegations of racism in the workplace. Now, again, he said, well, we didn't. You know, that's stuff that he's talking about, Evans talking about. I don't know what he's talking about that. But as into the environment, well, again, sometimes you don't know until you go through that process whether other people who were before you done filed these kind of, you know, charges, and then what end up happening is that's when all that gets disclosed when you get for, you know, disclosure and all the discovery, right? We go through the discovery and all that, right? So anyway, so we see that in the deposition, Dominic Ryan is his name. He's a white guy named Dominic Ryan. And what Dominic Ryan said in the deposition regarding the Evans claim, he is the Founders General Manager. He is the GM. He is the GM saying what he said. Now, this is what he said if you didn't catch it. He said he could not definitely say whether that that Tracy Evans was black or not. Now, again, you've seen the picture. Do I need to put it up in front of your face again? Do I need to put that in front? Maybe I'll do that again. Let me go ahead and put that in front again, because I'm trying to figure out what again, maybe he means something else. Let me see. You see that brother right there? You see that? Is that not a black man to you? Right? So right there, the GM is already on some BS, right? He's on some BS. Is that not a black man right there? It look black all day. Now, again, what he might be trying to do, you need me, Mr. Blows Your Mind, to actually sift through that to try to weed out the difference of what you're trying to say. But right now, you caught in a rock and a hard place. That there is a black man, right? He goes on to say that he didn't know that Tracy's lineage. Now, wait a minute. See, he's been watching too much in the black corner of YouTube, and then they think they can just, you know, pull apples with oranges and bananas and kumquats and talk about it's all the same fruit. That ain't no talk that come out of your mouth. What are you talking about? As a white Caucasian American, man. What are you talking about lineage when it comes to black folks in here? Right? The way that you got the umbrella in the country, it's either African American, then there's black Americans as the distinct for those, again, because African American could be anybody who comes from the continent of Africa, and black Americans is those who come, as we say in the beginning of this show, the BADOS, ADOS, those who are the bloodline historical lineage that are the ones who built this country. So here he is trying to be calling himself, I guess he calling himself trying to be smart, right? But he's not really be smart. He really putting his foot in his own mouth. And he said that I don't know his lineage, so I can't speculate on whether or if he's from Africa or not. Wait a minute. So, in his interpretation of his understanding is that the only way that he can look at that man and say that this man is black is only if he knows for a fact that his lineage is from Africa. So I guess a black man in Europe wouldn't be considered a black man. A black man in Asia would not be considered a black man. A black man in South America would not be considered a black man. Only if you understood where he is specifically from, where you discern if he's black. Now, again, maybe that's what he's trying to say. My understanding about what it is to be a black man is only those of the United States Foundation of Black Americans. Those are the BADOS and ADOS I be hearing Mr. Blows Your Mind talk about. Maybe that's what he's trying to say, right? But being his name's Evans, I'm pretty sure he's ADOS. At least daddy is, right? Right, with the last name, unless he took his mama's last name. But I'm pretty sure he's ADOS. So anyway, he goes on and says, to the interview, asked him about race. And then the interviewer continued to question Ryan, asked the manager if he knew whether. Now listen to what he said. He said, you know, Michael Jordan, what about the former president Barack Obama? Are they black? And you know what he said. Here's what he said. He responded that he never met them. Oh, I'ma say that again. He said that Michael Jordan and Barack Obama, because he have not met them on observation and appearance, what you seen on your TV, what you heard about them, you don't consider them black. So then we have to say, then when Spike Lee did that movie in that particular scene, who's your favorite man? Bruce. No, Prince. Bruce. All you play, they're niggas, but they're not little niggas. They're not little niggas though, right? They're not niggas though, right? So maybe this is what he's, again, this racial confusion is that I only consider black people if it's under a certain understanding and my understanding of it. I don't throw that to everybody unless I have this conversation to find out if you're, again, maybe code word black, but it might be nigga. Because again, it's like everybody want to be a nigga, but everybody don't want to be a nigga. And we always know that, right? We know how that go, right? Because a lot of people who get the benefits of trying to pretend as they black Americans, and then those, again, will take the benefit. But when it comes down to all the shit and the stigmatization and you don't want that part. You spit the bone from the fish at that time. So anyway, he says that he have never met them, so he can't say whether they black or not. That's strange, right? And so we see that, and to try to clean all that nonsense up, the company had to come with its political correctness because, again, based on that in itself was damaging. But then you heard when that Tracy Evans said that they had some kind of like a Jim Crow technology in there, right? There's a Jim Crow kind of shit in there, right? And that we had upstairs, we had the white guy's printer, and downstairs we had the black guy's printer. And it was obvious, I guess, labeled, So again, this place seems to be dripping for cut the check, right? They dripping with it, right? And so, I guess the best thing for you to do is get up out of there because, again, the longer you've been in, the worse because you become more dependent on it. And then they cut you at another time when you done built up and then, your life been based on that. Then to start all over again, then it's like, so it's best that it happen now. So you can go ahead and get this check cut because, see, listen to how they try to clean up what old Dominic had said, right? You see, the company came in and they said, well, what Ryan Dominic said in his deposition was simply now they're going to try to say with another grown man who's your GM, your general manager who running, operating your whole company, couldn't speak correctly. You got to come in there and do the PR work and clean up the shit he just said. He said, well, he does not assume anything about individuals' race and ethnicity unless they tell him that information. That's politically correct, right? He's trying to clean it up, right? You're going to sit there and tell you don't know if Michael Jordan, Barack Obama's black. Now, again, you say, well, Barack Obama, I'm not sure if he's black. I mean, he's African, black, but he might not be black American. Now, I get that part, but you're going to say Michael Jordan ain't black? BADOS? ADOS? You're going to say he ain't? Right? So that's just what it is, right? That's just what we go through all the time, every day. And no one takes out to talk about these stories because, again, these are the low level. These are the lumpen proletariats, the discarded, disenfranchised people. So that's why Black Minds News, what we do is we get the common man, the common black man stories, because they need to be heard for those who want to hear it. Now, again, this ain't for everybody. But again, they do need their story to be told, and a lot of people will be offended because they think that you're playing the race card. But how could I be playing the race card when I'm showing you exactly what I'm talking about? So again, you know how the news is reciprocal. That story has been told, and then it's only a time where we'll probably hear the end parts of how either he gets the settlement or not. But that's just how the game goes. So let me show you this next part here, right? Because you know it's going to be a theme on here, right? You know I got to do the theme. So we start off with that, right? So let's go here, right? Let me see. Is this where I want to go? I want to go here. Maybe I want to go here. Let's see. All right. So we're going to go this story here. And again, keep in mind the theme. You're going to keep in mind of the theme. So let me go ahead and do this, and we shall be right back afterwards. Check this out. Police officer lands in jail after confrontation with other cops. You know I'm going to say that again. Police officer lands in jail after confrontation with other cops. This story is coming out of the WSFA 12 News. Under the caption of the picture says, Dalton officer booked 24-year-old Tyrion Cortez Ritchie into the city jail on charges of disorderly conduct, harassment of a public official, and obstructing government operations. This story was done October the 21st, 2019, and this is how it reads. Dalton, Alabama. A Daleville police officer faces charges following his arrest. Dalton officer booked 24-year-old Tyrion Cortez Ritchie into the city jail Saturday morning. He is charged with disorderly conduct, harassment of a public official, and obstructing government operations. His arrest came after an incident Saturday during which Ritchie became verbally combative with Dalton's officer who had responded to suspicious person's call at a hotel per an arrest report. Daleville Police Chief Alan Medley has placed Ritchie, a sergeant, on administrative leave pending an internal investigation. A reserve officer with Ritchie on the hotel premises was not arrested. Medley said that officers' actions are also under scrutiny. Ritchie was released from jail after posting bond. All right, so we see here. I'm going ahead and put that up on the screen grid so you can see that again. Right, we see a brother right there in Daleville, Alabama. 24-year-old brother there named Tyrone Cortez Ritchie. Looks like he was a police officer in Alabama in Danville. And seems like he got into some kind of confrontation with other cops. Now, it was a short story. It got to the point. And I'm pretty sure it's more time going. Again, there was nothing out there for me to get as to in the report that they put out other than what they have here. And so we see that he was arrested for disorderly conduct, harassment of public officials, obstructing government operations. Now, we see that they say that Ritchie became verbally combative with Dolphin's officer. Now, you know that word combative, again, belligerent, you know the words that they use to try to, again, when you make a stance as into somebody is in the wrong, it seems like you're in the wrong because you decide to address it. Right? So you making a stance means you're always in the wrong. They want you to be docile and soft. So we see that this brother, 24 years old, decided that, again, according to what the story says, that these Dolphin officers responded to a suspicious person call by the hotel, according to the arrest report. Now, again, they're saying that the hotel had called the police based on an individual who they assumed was suspicious. Now, the officers come on the scene, and guess who it is? It's not just him by himself, because the report says there was another individual with Mr. Tyrone Cortez Ritchie. They didn't put his whole name out there, right? And so upon them getting into this, maybe they come into question, because maybe he's the one that they saying is suspicious, right? He looks suspicious, right? Now, looking at the photo, some people probably say, I can't even tell that was a police officer, right? Some people might even say, he don't look like a police to me, but what does a police officer look like, right? You know what I'm saying? So anyway, they call saying somebody suspicious. They end up coming up on him. Now, again, is this in the same jurisdiction that he is a police officer in? Because I'm not quite understanding that. You get what I'm saying? Because I hear they say Daleville, right? They also calling him an officer, and they saying Dolphin officer. So is he part of the Dolphin Police Department, or is he from another jurisdiction as another police officer? But it has to be the same because, again, according to what the story says, that the chief, Alan Metley, he's the one who placed Ritchie. And guess what? Ritchie ain't just a flatfoot. He ain't pat the corner turn type of writing, ticket cop. He's a sergeant. Well, I'm going to say that again. Tyrone Cortez Ritchie, 24 years old, is a sergeant. And based on what took place at the hotel, that again, if they were under suspicion, but he's not there alone, he's there with a partner, they don't accost the partner nor arrest him. They only go after Tyrone Cortez Ritchie. And if he's a sergeant in their department, you put your thinking cap on. What you think this is about? 24-year-old young man, sergeant in the police, and it looked like other police officers didn't like that, felt some kind of way. And here was an opportunity. Again, we only can speculate. We allegedly hypotheticalizing. But it's just the way it sounds. It sounds like that's what this sounds like. That there was some jealousy among somewhere, because again, if he's a police officer and he makes that be known, then you go back to, hey, he's an officer. You know what I'm saying? Unless the undercover, you ain't trying to blow this or whatever. But why would you take him in and have him to be dealing with the fact, disorderly conduct, harassment of a public official, as if he's not one himself, obstructing government operations. So operations. Was this some kind of undercover, or it was something going on and he's obstructing that? I don't know, right? I don't know. But I know one thing. It also says that they said that now, based on the fact that they took him in, arrested him, he bonded out, but the person that was with him, they did not arrest him nor accost him, and the ones that the chief decided to put him and, put him on administrative leave, his partner does not get anything, and those who apprehended him and did that, now they say, now they destroyed him, but now they're all on the internal investigation. Huh? So maybe somebody just didn't like the fact that this 24-year-old is now sergeant. And this is the way we might be able to get rid of him. Again, we don't understand how the situation with the hotel. We don't understand, was this a chess move? Was this strategically set up? But somehow, you being singled out on a situation that, again, if we all cops, shouldn't there be some kind of understanding once I identify myself that who I am? If you don't already know who I am a sergeant. I'm not a flatfoot. So I guess it must be something else here. Again, it must be your position that somebody just don't like. And so guess what? So now they put you in a situation. So now you're going to hear you as a police officer had to be talking about disorderly conduct. I'm surprised they said resisting arrest. I'm surprised they throw that on them. You understand? But anyway, that's what it is. That's what it is, right? That's just what it is, right? So again, here it is again. Something about the way when you in a position of authority, some people don't like the fact that when you in a position of authority, right? I remember one time I worked at this place. I had got this job. As a matter of fact, I was going through a temp agency at that particular time. And I had been doing this type of work for some kind of while, got into this place, and then they needed a position to be filled. They needed a supervisor, and they seen that I was qualified in all the position of how to operate with nobody in there knew how to do it. So they was like, you know what? We're going to put you through these 2 interviews, a pass of 2 interviews, go up in there, and I get in there, and they had this white dude that was sitting there, called himself assisting me. He wanted to take my work when I did it. Let me take this in, and let me take this in. And he's sabotaging it. You understand? I'm still a young man at this time. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? And he's sabotaging my work and giving it to him, making it so like it because he wanted the position. Kind of like going back to the Michigan situation where the brother was at Michigan. The 2 people that, again, he was trying to get the promotion were 2 people that he sat there and hand trained them. And then when they needed a position, they went and got the ones he trained to overpass him. Right? So it's something about when white folks know you in a position of authority, they don't like that shit. For some odd reason, they can't see you being in a position as authority over them. So it will sabotage you and shit. Now, they ain't got no problem sitting on their damn couch because they know damn well they're not better than you when it comes to catching no football, dunking no basketball, almost they might say baseball too, and anything else that we all, again, we talking about the ADOS, BADOS of this land. We ain't talking about everybody, because everybody else you might got a chat with. But when it comes to us, when we go in there, we put our best, we play Trump with our best against your best. I don't think you can put Babe Ruth. We got to play mother take Babe Ruth out, right? I don't know if Babe Ruth will be down with y'all anyway. But anyway, you understand? So anyway, that's just how it goes. And so there's a theme here. Right? There's going to be a theme here because that seems like that's always prevalent. It's always there. It's always there. So, check this out, right? So, I had told the story the other day, right, with Miss Tammy. You remember Miss Tammy? Right? Oh, Miss Tammy, right? And so, Miss Tammy, let me see. That's so good. Let's see. I think this go with Miss Tammy too. Let me see. I hope this is all good, y'all. Hold on. Hey, slow your roll. You trying to? Yeah, there. Hold on. You jumping too fast. Slow up. All right. So, we talked about Miss Tammy the other day, and how that, that whole trial and how the mishaps that are now coming back and people filing to get themselves what they're saying they're going to appeal. So it was two parts in that, right? There's the part about them appealing, then it was about what took place that allowed them to think they even had an opportunity to actually try to dismiss, right? To mistrial the case. So that came up today, and then I'm going to show you this, and I'll be right back. And let me, some of those who might be a little slow about what they need to be doing on here. Let me hold something, right? So we're going to do this, and then we're going to get to the next part here, right? Check this out and be right back. I think everything good. I think it's all good. I think it's all good. I think it's all good. Acting like it's all good. Looks like he's out here trying to hack my... All right. Hold on, y'all. Hold on one second. It's all of a sudden now. All right, there we go. There we go. All right. They be trying. Check this out and be right back. Dallas DA Croats wants Judge Kemp exempt from contempt of court hearing because of visual reaction court documents show. You know I'm going to say that again. Dallas DA Croats wants Judge Kemp exempt from contempt of court hearing because of visual reaction court documents show. This story is coming out of the NBC DallasFortWorth.com, and this is how it reads. Dallas District Attorney John Croats has asked that Judge Tammy Kemp be recused from a contempt of court order hearing set for next week. He and his office claim her visual reaction after learning of his alleged gag order violation questions her impartiality. Cruz's office filed a motion Monday requesting her to be exempt, claiming Kemp had a visual reaction after Dallas County Assistant District Attorney Jason Hermas made the court aware of the alleged gag order violation. The gag order was set in January, banning attorneys and parties involved from speaking with the media or making public comments regarding the murder trial of Amber Geiger. During the trial, Hermes presents an online article and local TV interview with Croats that aired the day before the trial began, which led to a motion for mistrial. Judge Tammy Kemp grows visibly frustrated after the defense asked for a mistrial due to a possible violation of her gag order by Dallas County District Attorney John Croats. Kemp ruled against the mistrial. Published Monday, September 23, 2019. In the motion filed Monday, Hermes alleged that Kemp seemed angry after he presented the interview, and he says he couldn't determine if the anger was directed towards his trial team or at the situation in general. Kemp ordered a recess of court and spoke with the prosecution and defense team. Hermes says he apologized and told Kemp he thought if there was a violation of the gag order was inadvertent. Judge allegedly told Hermes to stop defending his boss and that Cruz didn't think he had to follow the law, court documents show. Later, Kemp asked the jurors if they had seen the interview, and none of them had so. The motion for a mistrial was dismissed. The contempt hearing is still set for this week.
Oh, there was another interview last night.
Yes, Your Honor.
While the gag order was in effect.
I have the exhibits, Your Honor. I was going to put it into the record and bring it to the court's attention.
No, don't mind this. So let me be clear. On last night, the evening prior to the start of this trial, our elected DA did an interview about this trial.
On Fox 4 News, Your Honor, yes. And I have the video and the article from Fox 4 and the screenshot from the data disk. It was short, but it was done, and it appears to be a violation of your order dated January 2019, the restrictions regarding publicity.
Okay. You have the video? Let's see it.
Police officer lands in jail after. All right, so sorry about that part there. All right, so let me go ahead because I think I got another part that should have been there. That's the wrong part there, right? And let's see. That was her there. So why did it go there? It should have went here. All right, so let me see what took place because I shouldn't have went there. I don't know why I went there. So let me see something right quick. All right. Should be one more because there should have been a news article that came today. So let me see if this might be it. I think this is, no, it's probably this here. No, it's got to be this here. So let me do this right here because y'all got to get this part here. Otherwise, come up short. No, that's not it either. Hold on. That's not it. Hold on. So it's got to be this here. Thank you for your patience, y'all. Should have had already this done right. No, that ain't it either. So what happened to that? What's this?
Dallas County District Attorney John Creuzot wants the judge in the case, Tammy Kemp, recused from his contempt hearing. Creuzot spoke to a TV station the night before the Geiger trial, which allegedly broke a gag order issued by Judge Kemp. To break down what's happening in this case now, let's get to Evan Anderson in the newsroom. Evan, you've been looking through the motion that was filed. Tell us more about this.
Well, Deborah, the Dallas DA now has to argue why he should not be held in contempt of court. But John Creuzot wants Judge Tammy Kemp recused because of her, quote, visual reaction captured in the courtroom when she found out that he had given that interview, which aired the night before the trial started. In the interview, Creuzot discussed whether Amber Geiger should have been charged with manslaughter or murder based on the facts of the case. And Creuzot said murder was the appropriate charge. Jason Hermes, the lead prosecutor in the Geiger trial, wrote in an affidavit that he first learned about the Creuzot interview when one of Geiger's defense attorneys said that they were planning to ask the judge for a mistrial over a violation of the gag order. The judge denied that request, but she spoke to all attorneys in her chamber, and during that time, Hermes apologized for the situation and for being unprepared to address it, saying he had still not seen that interview. Hermes also wrote that if there was a violation of the gag order, that he was sure it was inadvertent. He said Judge Kemp told him to stop defending his boss. We understand that exchange in the chamber lasted for several minutes, and at one point, Judge Kemp said that she didn't think Creuzot thought he had to follow the law. So, of course, we'll see how this plays out. Deborah, back to you.
Van Lathan put... All right, y'all, I want to apologize for that. It's got some monkey business going on here, and I kind of noticed when I heard that thing come on, so everything is going in the wrong direction for some odd reason. So anyway, All right, so what you see there, right, is you see that you have the Dallas DA Croops who wants Judge Kemp exempt from the court hearing because of visual reaction. Now, again, I let you see the visual reaction was a simple fact that once it came to the judge as to what had took place the day before the trial, that the district attorney had an interview, which again, going back to 2018 of January, or it might have been January 2019, that it was put as a gag order that no one could speak. Now, again, as I did the story the other day, for those who might have caught it, when I was talking about how the Amber Geiger lawyers were now filing for the intent to appeal the case, it talked about the John Cruz and that as well. And it talks about how this whole situation and how that was presented and, you know, live and direct what it was and how she responded. Now, again, as I said, it could be Z movie kind of acting, right? Because again, everything that he's talking about that you're trying to use, as he said, your reaction, right? He said, what do you call it? Your visual reaction is grounds to have this you recused as trying to hold me for contempt. Now, ain't that some? Wait a minute. I'm the judge who putting you under contempt, and you gonna try to use a technicality to get me to get a new judge, so somebody else will be like, we ain't gonna hold you to that. But in the eyes of this judge, if it's 100, she's looking at the fact that, one, you disobeyed me as the presiding judge, and two, you used to be in this seat. You know what it's like to be there. And yet, that's why she said you felt like you didn't need to, she said, obey the law. But it's really more about you, black person. I ain't got to listen to you. You black. You know what I'm saying? What it said, but it ain't been erased. The white man has no law that has respect from a black person, right? So here it is, a judge who makes it clear, clean, and simple, gag order on everybody. And here's somebody who's very seasoned in the game. Again, as I said on the last talk about that situation, it looks like somebody is throwing one in for the team. And then again, as you've seen, to make sure that we catch all that, you making the faces and all that, so that's going to end up recusing you. Again, is this all game? Is this all game, or is this really was, as the individual said, the inadvertent, right? He said, well, inadvertently did it, right? Now, when you say inadvertent, right? You say inadvertently, you're going to say, well, it was unintentionally, unmindfully. What about headedlessly, disagreeably, thoughtlessly, unthinkingly, inconsiderately, all the leads in it, right? Carelessly, unwaveringly, right? It was a neglectfully. It was, remissfully, loosely, laxly, slackly, accidentally, unintentionally, right? And so you see, according to what she's saying, she said, well, hey, you quit trying to take up with your boss. Your boss knew what he was doing. He ain't brand new. He's seasoned. So again, one in hindsight looking at it, then again, could it have been a slip? I don't think so. Somebody been in the game that long, I don't think you slip like that, right? You know what I'm saying? You got all the fundamentals down. You know all the basics, right? You're a vet in the game. Vets don't make, rookie mistakes, right? Because you've been in the game long enough. So again, as time go on, everything will be revealed and according to its appropriate time. But it's just kind of funny that, again, here's somebody in the position of authority that, again, somebody underneath who does not want to respect the fact that you're in the position that you hold. Yet, here's the rules of the rule, here's the rules of the regulations and how the game played. But again, the rules that I have to abide is not by the same rules that you got. Your rules come from the back. Mine is in the front. And so based on this whole situation, it could also be, a linchpin to actually open the latch and allow a bird to get out of the cage. Do I need to say that again? It's possible it could be the linchpin that's holding up the cage to let the bird fly out that's locked in it. Only time gonna see this on that appeal, and you know Black Minds News will be watching. So it's kind of funny, right? Once again, you got a brother who's a police officer, who's what? Sergeant. Get accosted by other officers, and somehow his position, his authority, don't mean nothing. He's unruly, unconduct, he's all this other stuff, and gets locked up, right? Now, GM to an employee who wants to do this and right? It's just always there, right? So we got to go to the end for this here, right? I seen this, actually was going to do it the other day, but because I got caught up more into that other story and just did one, I did this. So that's the day you're getting the treat you're getting for today, right? So anyway, so did you hear this here, right? Let me go ahead, get to you, right? Let me go ahead, get to you, Let me go ahead and read this for you, right? Okay, let me go ahead and read this, be right back. Wait, do I got everything right to make sure? Make sure, because, sometimes everything just don't want to go according to the way it's supposed to, right? So we're going to do this, and we're going to do this. I don't know why it's going up anyway, right? Why is it going up? All right, so let's see now. Check this out, and she'll be right back. Van Lathan put hands around Michael Babcock's throat before TMZ firing. You know I'm going to say that again. Van Lathan put hands around Michael Babcock's throat before TMZ firing. This story is coming out of page 6, October 22nd, 2019, and this is how it reads. Page 6 has learned that before Van Lathan was fired from TMZ, he put his hand around the throat of co-host Michael Babcock. On Monday, we reported that site veteran Lathan had been canned after telling Babcock, after shooting a segment together for TMZ Live, that there would be trouble between them if Babcock ever embarrassed Lathan like that again. We heard from the sources that Lathan had put his hands around Babcock's throat, but didn't publish the claim without evidence. But on Tuesday, pictures emerged clearly confirming that Lathan had gotten physical. Insiders told us that Lathan, who shot to fame last year when he challenged Kanye West after the rapper said that slavery was a choice, wouldn't have been fired if he hadn't touched Babcock. In the first of 4 frames available on obscure Twitter feed, Lathan approaches Babcock from behind while Babcock sits in the TMZ Live host chair, puts his hands on Babcock's neck, rests his arms on Babcock's shoulders, and speaks into the former colleague's ear. In the second, Babcock, clearly shocked, turns to look at Lathan. In the third, he follows Lathan out of the frame. And a fourth shows colleagues several rows of desks away turning to see what the commotion was about. A source who was in the room tells us that Lathan was finished shooting and was on the other side of the room before he decided to return to confront Babcock. He walked all the way across the room, came from behind Babcock, and grabbed him, said the insider. Meanwhile, we learn more about the segment that led up to the October 8th incident. We're told that the pair had been discussing the infamous shot of Ellen DeGeneres talking to George W. Bush at a football game. According to someone who's seen the tape, Lathan says something to the effect of, "I'm going to speak now." And Babcock replied with something to the effect of, "You're not telling me when I can talk and when I can't." Apparently, Lathan was upset during the segment. Babcock Lathan and reps for TMZ didn't get back to us.
Finally tonight, we thought we'd address kindness, civility, and politics, which don't seem to be mentioned in the same sentence much these days. It took a greeting on the gridiron between former President George W. Bush and Ellen DeGeneres to bring it into sharp focus.
It may not seem like a big deal for a celebrity to attend a football game, but I never leave my house, so it is a big deal.
Ellen and her wife, Portia de Rossi, were invited to sit in the private box of Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones. Former President George W. Bush and his wife, Laura, were also there.
But during the game, they showed a shot of George and me laughing together, and so people were upset. They thought, why is a gay Hollywood liberal sitting next to a conservative Republican president? Didn't even notice I'm holding the brand new iPhone 11. But a lot of people were mad, and they did what people do when they're mad. They tweet, but here's one tweet that I loved. This person says, Ellen and George Bush together makes me have faith in America again.
But instead of getting into the fray on social media, Ellen used the moment to preach about civility.
Here's the thing. I'm friends with George Bush. In fact, I'm friends with a lot of people who don't share the same beliefs that I have. We're all different, and I think that we've forgotten that that's okay that we're all different. When I say be kind to one another, I don't mean only the people that think the same way that you do. I mean be kind to everyone. Doesn't matter.
We agree, Ellen. And here's something for all of us to think about tonight. How many of us have friends who don't share our politics or beliefs? And if we don't, why not?
Where are you from, anyway?
I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Are you from Louisiana? I didn't know that.
Yeah, from down in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Been in LA like, I think 13 years.
Right. What brought you here?
We had a little weather event down in Louisiana.
Right.
Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. I think Brownie did a heck of a job.
Brownie did a heck of a job, yeah.
Yes.
And so,
so your family moved then?
No. So for me, I like when that was going on, I was actually working on a show down there, a movie called The Reaping.
Okay. And what were you doing on that movie?
I was the stage manager.
Okay. And so you had dreams of being in the movies and working in the movies, that time of thing?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I am a writer, and so I that actually had a little bit to do with how I got out here. But
Van said that as in the way that every writer says that. It's kind of an apology statement. It's a statement that's laced with apology.
Right.
But don't, no matter what stage you're at, every writer feels that way. It's called the imposter syndrome.
Right. It's like,
every writer feels that way.
Well, I'm a writer. What have you done? Nothing that you know. So let's move on in the conversation. But yeah, so I was the stage manager. So there are no studios in Baton Rouge, right?
Sure.
So when you come down there and you shoot a movie, I think they're building one now. When you come down and you shoot a movie in Baton Rouge, you got to find studio space. So what we did was we took the Walmart on Perkins Road, or what they did, and they turned it into a stage.
Oh, wow.
And so my job on this picture, and the movie was like, it starred a very early Idris Elba movie role with Hilary Swank and all of those guys. And I had to come in, unlock the stage in the morning. I had to coordinate with like
unlocking
transpo.
that gym so the ball players can come in, the NBA players.
Exactly.
Right. I know what that is.
Like unlock it, you know. And then like it was so weird because so I would coordinate everything between transportation, set direction, and all of that stuff like that. And then also like do little breakdowns because they were built. Those were the hubs for everyone that was working out of there. And then also they
was it an independent film?
No, it was like this was Dark Castle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this was Joel Silver. Like he came down to Baton Rouge.
Oh, cool.
And so anyway, and then they started building sets in there and shooting stuff inside there. And I remember I was so excited, right? So excited. I remember.
I can imagine.
Hilary Swank walks in. I'm talking to her. Idris Elba. I got to talk to the screenwriters of the movie. They were writing pages like as the movie was happening.
And were they pretty cool? Were they nice to you?
They were very cool.
That's nice.
All of these people were cool, and the people who weren't cool, I won't talk about. And I remember I told one of the guys, his name was Sarah Flam. She's a big deal now, but she was a production supervisor then, not to diss her. I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna get an air mattress. I'm just gonna like leave the air mattress right here. And she was like, okay, you don't have to do that, you know? I was like, it's just easier for me. Besides driving back out, I can just be right here.
You're gonna live there.
Yes.
On set.
I'm going to live on set was what I was going to do. I'm going to live on the Walmart. There was a Piggly Wiggly across the street, so I just go there and get my stuff. And what happened was, right when I was like, because I had to go buy air mattress, right when I was buying the air mattress to do this, is when they started to be like, yo, if you guys can get out of South Louisiana, you should. Because this hurricane is going to be as bad as we think that it could possibly be.
How far in advance were people saying that?
I think that get out was maybe 2 or 3 days before.
Not a lot of time, right?
Not a long time. I mean, we knew that the hurricane was going to be a strong hurricane because what happened with Katrina is that, if people don't know, the Gulf, Katrina came through. I guess it came through South Florida, wherever it came up through. And then when hurricanes get to the Gulf, the water there is so warm.
Yeah, really.
It's like steroids.
Yeah.
So they just churn there and they get big. And once they saw that, they're like, okay, you're not going to be able to ride this one out. You need to get out. And so when that happened, I thought maybe staying in a hollowed out Walmart wouldn't be the best place for me to be. You know what I mean? So I went back to the crib. And
I wouldn't suggest that no matter where that Walmart.
Right, exactly. So I went back to the crib, and then when I went back to the crib, all hell broke loose.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so
your whole family was in there, right?
Yes.
Where it's down there. How big was your family?
Pretty.
All right, so we back, right? Might be wondering why I played that, right? But there was something in there that you need to know. Now, the fact is that, again, there's a story that had came out that broke that Van Lathan, for those who have watched TMZ, and that's probably the segment if you're ADOS or BADOS, if you did listen, those are the parts where he talked, and then you got the other brother there too, right? So we see the story broke that Van Lathan had been fired because he got into a confrontation with this other individual named Michael Babcock. Of course, as you've seen there, they showed that Van Lathan supposedly has put this, I guess it's not even allegedly now, it's like it is what it is, right? Let me make sure you can see that. Let me put that up on the screen there, right? So you see that, right? You see the little picture on the right of there, you see his hand on the back of his neck. So accordingly, the clip that I show you with the Ella Degenerate is the conversation that they supposedly be having a disagreement about. And they didn't air it. This happened back in, I guess, October 8th, because I guess that's when that story broke. And so you see that Ella Degenerate was at the Dallas Cowboy game and in the Jerry Jones seats, and sitting next to her is George Bush. And you heard what she said again. So somehow they had some kind of conversation back on the TMZ, and it became confrontational, and it seems to have been a little touching, right? And according to the article, it says it was telling that they were shooting the segment, as I said, right? And they wanted to break the story originally, but again, they didn't have it. It was just hearsay. And they didn't want to put it out there because a lot of people speculate the fact that maybe it was just the fact that Van had been fired just for the simple fact he was black. You know, that was out there, right? And so they said, well, they kept Babcock, but they let Lathan go. So without all that, then people were seeing, he said, what he said on his Twitter page and so forth, that everything gonna be all right, gonna be a sad day tomorrow, but, asking God, is everything all right, we good, so we're gonna move forward. And so we see that, Lathan, Van Lathan, about 39 years old, he come out of Louisiana, right? And you remember they say what made Van Lathan to appear to be on a so-called, there's a difference between personality and I think actor, right? Personality star and actor star. An actor is somebody who's legitimate, and a personality is a perception that people give them that they are a star, right? So he's a personality star that blew up based on the simple fact that, again, they say what happened with the Kanye West situation where Kanye said that slavery was a choice, and it was Van Lathan who, took on a position as an ADOS, BADOS, and corrected from his perspective as, that's not correct. What you're saying is not correct. And a lot of people cajoled and congratulated Van Lathan for how he stood up. And they said this is what propelled him to the stardom. So I played that part that you hear him having a conversation with an individual on the show that he did for the simple fact to give you a background on who this brother is. Now, the brother was telling you that he had got his job as on a set with Idris Elba and some swank or something like that, right? And his job was to open and close and do some other things. So he decided that it would be better for him just to stay there, get him an air mattress. And so the day he goes do this, word comes that, hey, there's a bad storm coming here, and y'all need to get out. Now, he's from Louisiana, okay? He said in a conversation that I heard that he was kind of a disciple of Kanye West, due to the simple fact that, again, he's from Louisiana. Kanye at the time, when George Bush was the president, now you see how this all connected, right? Remember, Ellen DeGeneres is in there taking a picture with George Bush, right? So some way back in the TMZ, they having this kind of conversation that becomes political, and Van Lathan has something personal due to the simple fact he comes from where? Louisiana. And yet, remember, Kanye catapults and put himself by saying George Bush don't love black folks, right? And in the conversation you hear that Van Lathan is having, he's giving you the ordeal, and there was a lot more. But again, I'm kind of skeptical of the fact that what I played, hopefully that doesn't do too much. But the fact that I did do it, you got to hear. But he goes and he gives you, his ordeal, what took place, what happened with his family, so forth, the lives that were affected, and the whole thing, how he felt, and how that is how he became a disciple of Kanye West. And then after what he said, he lost all respect for him. So we have to assume that for Van Lathan to do what he did, as you see on your screen there, something had been said. Again, whether they're going to air that or not is another thing, but it was, Louisiana and that whole ordeal, because even when he was talking to this individual on this interview, he said, oh, you don't remember about the, little catastrophe, little watershed. He said, oh, yeah. He said, the brownies, yeah, I remember all that. I had to be high to remember all that, right? You know what I'm saying? The little connotative language they always saying, right? And so, that was how he talked in that interview. He said how it goes from you supposed to be this people who are a part of a nation to becoming like you're not even part of it. And the ordeal of going through when you go and there's nothing and no one and you're being, he goes through that. So it's personal, very personal with Van Lathan. And for the simple fact that if you know anything, if you do the IMBD, you'll see that Van Lathan has done some projects that is dealing with as a BADOS, ADOS individual about sports and how taking back the game, controlling the money instead of these people who got the money but can't play the game. But we who played, and again, he made something on that. He made a movie about the first black NASCAR race car driver. And he got a couple other things, right? And so he's trying to do some things again, and from the perspective that that's what he is. He's too black. He's too strong, right? And so he being about 39, 40 years old, this young man, I'm not sure how old he is, but I know both of them, under what I've seen, is Aries. So, you know, they got that fight in them. The war is in them. So whatever took place, Lathan again told him, hey, let me tell you, whisper a couple things in your ear. If you ever disrespect me like that ever again, we're going to have problems. So, as we heard in the article, it says that Lathan said he's going to talk. So my man says, hey, I'm going to talk when I want to talk, and you ain't going to be able to tell me how to talk. Now, again, it's kind of like this, like, you know, kind of like this, you know, bravado thing. Or you think you big shit around here. That don't mean shit to me. Woo woo. Again, it's all about your position. Other people don't want to kneel to it because they feel like, hey, shit, you just a nigga any damn way. I don't have to, you know what I'm saying? You don't mean shit around here. And so when all shit hit the fan, who end up leaving again? Do we say that because you get physical and once you touch somebody, you automatically lose? That's just the way the game goes, right? That's just how it goes. But again, if you struck in the nerve, you struck in the cord, you make somebody become that way, you still not accountable. Instead of you both getting the walk, no, you get the walk. And so Van Lathan has lost his position on TMZ, and hopefully, you know, because of the brotherism that he always exudes and shows himself. I think at one time he said something that I just kind of like didn't like. But anyway, but on this particular aspect, just for the thing that we done showed in this particular show is just like how every time you're in a position, you seem to be getting the instinct when people don't respect the fact because of who you are and how they stigmatize them, the stigmatization in their mind about how they view you. And so, you know, do they need him? Yeah, because he was that avenue, that path that those who do watch TMZ, him, and then I think Raquel, the other sister on there, right? Other than that, I mean, who else y'all got on there? So it's going to be a loss to them. And I'm pretty sure, you know, he got a podcast and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure it's going to pick up a little bit because due to the simple fact of this notoriety of those who are talking about it. So again, I wanted to bring some attention to it. Normally, I don't do none of this trendy stuff, but again, this is being a brother here, and his whole theme is about he stands for BADOS, ADOS. And so as fam of that, I salute and give my hat to you. But again, that's the name of the game. You know, once a black man starts swelling up, standing up, and so you start telling them, you know what I'm saying, you're going to end up holding the bag. So again, Black Minds News wanted to give some recognition to the fact that took place. And again, that is what happened there. There's more to it, but we've been doing long enough. But I just want to bring some attention because, again, I don't really do celebrity type of news. So, well, you tell me what y'all think on what a part on here that you're seeing. And again, I want to thank each and every one of you for dropping by and hanging out with Mr. Blows Your Mind. And so, can we get that going there, sir? Okay, can you get that going? Can you get it going? Can you get it going? Can you get it going? Thank you, sir. Thank you. All right. So, again, want to thank each and every one of you personally for you clicking on the video. Like, dislike, comment, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Again, this is the most hated show in the black corner of YouTube. And so, when you see one another, greet your brother. What's good, brother? What's good, sister? Can't do that much, at least give the universal nod. Understand that we is all we got. You know, you have some of us on this team that like to say they got allies. But you better ask them to ask their allies two real questions. One, when shit and if shit get hot, you gonna still be down here in the frying pan when shit get hot? Two, ask them if they ever heard of John Brown. Is John Brown real, or that's something that y'all gave us to make us think that somebody white would put his family and go all out to make what's wrong right for black folks? Or is that just a mythology? Because we know that in this country, I have not yet seen a movie about John Brown yet. The closest thing I think you get to it is something called Django. Right? In the scheme of the scent of it. So they don't deem, right? They claim him the most craziest white man that ever was in this country. Again, there's some that seek for our demise, so it is incumbent that we as ADOS, BADOS, we had to stay vigilant, mindful, cautious, and high spirit. Again, I'm your host. This has been a Black Minds News Report, Mr. Blow Your Minds. Until the next show. Until the next show.